But anyway, let's get into this. That was real heavy. Thanks for enduring that with us. Thanks for listening. Let's get into this fun movie about aminals.
Who are persecuted cats.
Yeah. So, Cats Don't Dance is the prequel to BoJack Horseman.
Okay, so Cats Don't Dance was released in 1997. It was distributed by Warner Brothers, and it was the only fully animated feature produced by Turner Feature Animation before it just got eaten by Warner Brothers Animation. And a huge part of why this film was not financially successful is because the merging happened during the post-production of this film, which fucked with all the promotional work that needed to be done to get people to watch the movie. But the movie itself, you know, it is still very strong and has a pretty good rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It has a following of fans that still really like it. It is very well made. You know, it's, you know, classic 2D animated stuff. Like, I don't think there was any CGI integration whatsoever.
Not even, like, with the balloon?
Yeah.
And movies made even a little bit later, the balloon would have been CGI.
Yeah, like, I'm kind of surprised. Maybe the balloon was CGI, but it was just done very, very well. It has an amazing cast. It has an amazing history. It's a movie about Hollywood, but for kids. And, you know, the genre of Hollywood movies about Hollywood has been around since Hollywood.
Yeah.
But,
We talked about an extremely similar show last week.
Nina got mad at me when I said that.
Well, this is more like, this movie more captures, like, golden age idealism, as opposed to the, like, dark half of Hollywood.
The skullduggery.
You know, Mulholland Drive darkness of Hollywood. This is like...
You know, singing in the rain stuff.
Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
This film is noteworthy because it was the last film that Gene Kelly worked on. He provided the choreography for this film, because he died in 96 and this came out in 97. And the whole character of Danny was very much kind of based on the typical Gene Kelly sort of character.
For those that don't know, he was an old classic actor, and his big thing was he could dance super good.
He was a singing in the rain guy.
Yeah, An American in Paris, Anchors Away, Singing in the Rain, For Me and My Gal, Dubarry Was a Lady, The Three Musketeers, Hello Doll. Well, he directed Hello Dolly. He didn't star in it, but he directed it. You know, he was a huge person in classic golden era Hollywood. And this was the last thing he ever did. This was also the last thing that Betty Lou Garrison did, who you might know as the voice of Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
As well as an accomplished actress on her own right. She did a lot of stuff with Disney and other live-action roles as well. She was also of this era. She was the narrator in Cinderella. Like, she was, along with doing a bunch of stuff for animation, did live-action and radio as well. That's one thing about this film, is that when they were casting the actors, they wanted people who either had, like, done stuff with animation or had done stuff with radio. Because they wanted that feel to it, and also they knew that they would be, you know, they would adapt well to the idea of acting with just their voice.
Now that's the first thing that's really made me realize what a similar deal it is, at least in terms of, like, just the person's performance. Like, if there's no visuals for a voice actor in the booth, so they really do have to make it work almost as if it were radio. That's a really interesting correlation. I'm surprised more people never tried that. I mean, I guess they do. Greg Universe's voice actor is a radio DJ.
Yeah. And it's a good method, I think.
Oh, fun fact about this movie.
There's a lot of fun facts, but... It
was the first non-Disney movie to win the Annie Award for Best Animated Feature.
I did read that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the Annie, it won in 1997. The Annie Award started in 92. I believe at the behest of June Foray.
I believe it.
It beat out Hercules and Space Jam.
Not the toughest competition.
I mean, Hercules is not a bad movie.
No.
It's not bad.
It's
Nina.
not good. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Not a big fan.
Nina's in general not a big fan of the
Sorry.
whole Renaissance.
Nope. It leaves me very underwhelmed. I can appreciate Hercules for the hot mess that it was. Anyway, we're going to talk about Hercules. This film, a lot of the notes that we have are about the casting, how they went about finding the people they found. We mentioned Scott Bakula is in this movie. Apparently, he had a successful career on Broadway before he became a singer, a television...
Before he became Sam Beckett.
Yeah. And he is experienced in singing and dancing, and he was able to provide the singing voice for Danny as well. Not everybody did their singing voice, but most people
I
did.
noticed that most people in the movie, like a lot of the main characters had a singing voice actor, but like Scott Bakula, I was amazed. I was like, oh, I guess he just does it. What can't this man do? He can sing, he can quantum leap.
He can trek a star. Not very well, but he did it.
He can be confused for Dracula. Not a lot of people can say that.
There's a few other casting little stories. The star who played Darla Dimple, or the voice of Darla Dimple, at the time was 9. Her name was Ashley Peldon, but I believe that there was a couple people playing her at the time.
She was 13.
She was 13.
She was 13 at least when the movie came out.
Right.
She was born in 84.
So she was between 9 and 13 when she did the movie.
Yeah. It does not sound like a child's performance.
Well, that's because apparently she had been acting herself since she was a toddler and had just had recently appeared in the live action The Crucible earlier before she did this film.
That's a crazy movie to put a kid in.
I mean, there were kids in that play. So apparently she had a lot to draw from as herself a child actress who had been a child actress her whole life at the tender age of 9.
Yeah, her first credit was 89 when she was 5 in something called The Lemon Sisters.
And then Pudge,
Wow.
the adorable, cute little penguin boy who we all love. Itself, like the casting of him itself was kind of like a classic Hollywood story, according to the creators, because one day a group of animators were eating lunch together at an outdoor cafe, and a little boy came over to ask them for directions. And then someone answered him and he walked away, and then at the same moment another animator blurted, "That's Pudge! Exactly!" And we all realized it was true. So they rushed over to him,
Kidnapped him.
They asked if he ever acted, which he didn't. They asked if he wanted to, and he was like, yeah, sure. And then they cast him as the character. They literally just met this kid.
That's like what every server in Hollywood hopes happens to them, and it never does.
Never will.
He doesn't have a Wikipedia page, so I imagine he didn't do much acting after that, but that's just cool.
Good.
That's a cool thing to just get to do once, you know?
Yeah.
Another big reason why this film had trouble getting promoted is that during production, Turner Feature Animation was constantly changing management, which, as we said, eventually led to it being folded and turned over to Warner Brothers Animation. So there was a bunch of heads throughout the entire process of this film, and each head attempted to take drastic revisions to the story. One update, one person actually wanted to change the time period it was set in.
To what, contemporary Hollywood?
No, to the 1950s as opposed to 39.
Okay.
With like a rock and roll type feel. And the director was like,
Oh.
it's real hard to make a movie that you're just trying to finish when they keep telling you they want it to be a different thing and they want a different era, a different character. And it's like, we've already started the movie. And the other fact is that the breakout character, Max, was indeed played by Mark Dindal, the director. Which, of course, was never intended to use the film. It was just his scratch track, but they kind of...
It's like that Pixar guy
They started running out of money, basically, actually.
Who's that Pixar guy
Yeah.
who did Roz and Edna Mode?
Oh, shoot, I don't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
I'm pulling it up. Brad Bird.
Brad Bird, yeah. I was like, he did...
Brad Bird.
He did Syndrome, too. I don't think it... This was actually, like, they just were running out of money and time, and they're like, let's just keep it. It's fine. It works. Whatever. Trying to get this movie made. Nobody wants me to make this movie. The songs were done by Randy Newman, and they don't sound like Randy Newman songs because you can't tell it's a Randy Newman song unless he's singing. Kind of.
Yeah.
I can't.
Usually.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and it's just like a cute, sweet homage with really fun characters, really neat animal character designs. Like, I didn't realize just how, like similar how we mentioned in Lilo and Stitch, where, like, Pleakley was designed if you, like, picked him up and everything sank to the bottom. That's kind of how Danny, the cat, looks. Like, he kind of...
Oh, yeah. Everyone's very flowy and curvy, and all the lines really flow into each other really nice. They've got great silhouettes and character designs, and their body weight is animated amazingly. Just amazing attention to, like, where people's weight is, and how it flows, and how they dance. It's beautiful.
Yeah, like, I love Sawyer's little cat paws.
Oh, they're so
Her
tiny.
little paws are so little.
And his are huge.
Yeah.
They got Mickey Mouse
Yeah,
hands.
now you're talking.
Mark Dindal went on to direct Emperor's New Groove and then Chicken Little.
Oh, okay.
And then
Emperor's New Groove is one of my favorite movies as a kid.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is very surprising to hear you say, because I know of your distaste for David Spade. But I also love that movie.
I don't know the man personally. He's just in a handful of stinkers.
Yeah, his career is bad, especially post Chris Farley. Once he started hanging with a bad crowd, which is to say, Adam Sandler. And
I don't like those boys you're hanging out with, David. They're no good.
They do all these tax scams, David.
In all the movies.
David, they're cheating the IRS. They're gonna get you. Allegedly, I should say, for legal purposes.
Yeah, also, apparently, they couldn't even get, like, a deal with McDonald's or Burger King because they had licensed Subway toys for this movie.
Ah! I remember when that was a thing, oh my god.
Was it even a thing in 97?
Yeah.
I vaguely remember seeing Subway toys, and even as a kid, I'm like, what? No.
Even Wendy's...
No child wants your smelly bread.
Even Wendy's toys are always dog shit.
Yeah, and...
Yeah.
Like, literally, like, just before the film came out, Turner was purchased by Warner, and then they just put it out on an Easter holiday weekend.
Yeah.
It's, like, crazy.
Because, like, usually with animated movie failures, it was a matter of, like, oh, well, like, there was a Disney film that week or something like that, or, like, a Bluth. But then, like, I looked at what else was coming out that month, and I was like, there was really nothing. Nothing was stopping it from being a successful animated movie for the month that came out, but, like, nobody knew it fucking exists.
Yeah, the only thing that stopped it was all this management turnover and craziness. And unfortunately, the film just got caught up in the process of it. Another fun fact...
I'm so glad... I just want to say, I'm so glad we live in, like, a modern era where everybody knows about every movie coming out, basically.
Me too.
That's going to backfire, too.
Yeah, no.
Have you heard that thing that Lucas and Spielberg said about how 2018 will be the death of movies?
No.
Yeah, because there's like 30 blockbusters coming out.
There's a massive blockbuster coming out every week. There's not going to be enough money to support the industry.
That's going to be fun. I can't wait.
It's something that they predicted that would eventually happen, and the 2018 lineup. It's like there's a massive blockbuster every week.
Enough about Hollywood's overproduction and scheduling problems. Let's get into their racism problems.
Okay, this movie's an allegory.
Welcome to Zootopia Light.
Yeah, I would say pretty light, because it's like all animals.
Yeah.
It's a very simplified version of race as opposed to Zootopia, which was so realistically complicated.
It's like a Roger Rabbit, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Roger Rabbit, where it's like you got the toons and you got the people, and nobody really fucking respects
You got the
toons.
normal people and the weirdos. And we need the weirdos to make the movies, but we don't like them.
We just want them to be in the background.
Well, while I was watching it, I came up with a really good comparison where it's like, it's like, oh man, the animals must scramble to get in a Noah's Ark picture the same way that happens whenever a director wants to make a slavery movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Asian actors want to make like some kind of martial arts movie.
Yeah. I mean, not even, because that Great Wall movie's coming out starring Matt Damon.
Well, that's a Chinese-made film.
Which is even more bizarre.
Baffling.
That's a whole nother essay.
That's a whole nother thesis.
Yeah, like, they're just kind of there. It's barely a role. Like, they could have just actually... Like, I guess because in this world there aren't animals, they're just animal people.
Yeah.
So instead of having animals, you put animal people in there. I guess because they're smart. and they listen to directions. But all the animals are basically treated the same.
It's BoJack.
So we've got our little cast of characters. We have our main character who's the wide-eyed dreamer coming to Hollywood expecting to get a job right away.
And he's a grade A schnook.
I love him. He's so adorable and stupid.
Yeah. You know. He has his
little plan.
He's from Kokomo, Indiana.
Way down in Kokomo.
And then we have a bunch of actors who are all going to go to the same agency. It's this one agency that does stuff for animal actors. There we meet Sawyer, who's another cat, so she's the love interest. She's working as a receptionist, but used to also be an actress because, you know, like the old saying goes, everybody working a dead-end job in Hollywood, you thought they were going to be an actor one day.
Or thinks they're going to be.
And then there's Tilly, the hippo, who's very...
Kathy Najimy.
She's very, like, overbearing.
Very
in like, a mommy way.
Yeah.
There's... What's his name of the goat?
Cranston or something?
Cranston?
Something like that.
Something real craggly sounding.
That's a good goat name.
It is Cranston, yeah.
Cranston. There's Pudge, who we talked about, who's so cute. There's Wooly the mammoth, who's this pretty rad elephant.
Played by John Rhys Davies.
There's Betty Lou Garrison's character, who's a fish. Her name's Francis.
So nasty, all the time smoking fish.
And then there's T.W. Turtle, who I love. He's always getting fortune cookies.
He was Don Knotts.
I forgot about Don Knotts. This movie made me remember Don Knotts, and I was happy. He's an old actor. Did people find out he wasn't cool later in life?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I didn't want to look it up.
And then our main villain, Darla Dimple, who is such a well-crafted villain character.
Yeah. The move, she is what makes this movie
She's
really
like
work.
Baby Doll from the Batman animated series if she had no redeeming qualities whatsoever. She's just a little shit.
She's a bizarro Shirley Temple, and even then, I can't make any commentary on Shirley Temple's character.
Shirley Temple didn't have a lot of agency in her life. This girl does.
Yeah.
I think Shirley Temple's mom made her live her in build a playhouse extension to her normal house, and that's where she lived.
I'm positive Shirley Temple just got fucked.
Yeah. Anyway, but this is an evil Shirley Temple who she's just evil. She just likes the attention. She hates animals, and the animation on her is mesmerizing.
Yeah, it's extremely... The small facial details are so good.
And not so small.
Yeah.
Sometimes really extreme. And her, little baby knees.
She's got baby legs.
She's got sexy baby
the legs.
legs?
Stayed the thickness and consistency as she grew older. Her legs just, it's like somebody, selected them and then clicked and dragged. Made them bigger.
Yeah.
She didn't grow into her baby fat. She just got more. She just stayed proportional.
And she exists in this weird space between being this child innocent character and being sexy.
Yeah.
What is weird. But that you could just attribute that to Hollywood. Yeah, essentially. Her lounging rolling around the piano.
Yeah, because that shit, that's just what you do when you do a singy-songy piano number on a piano. That's just cliches and shit. Because that was the thing. Also, because it was part of the joke that she's way older than she was. It's the beginning of the song is I didn't get whatever. She always talks about what she had to do to make it in this business, and I'm you're only 8.
Yeah,
how long you been working?
Yeah, we never get a definitive age for her. She's just this strange anomaly. And then we have her butler.
Oh, man.
Max.
Max rules.
Max is so cool. He's definitely the most out there aspect of this film. If you accept that, there are animals and people and whatever, he's just kind of... He doesn't make sense. But it's fine.
He's just this enormous man.
I love the part where, after he, yells at Danny... He goes back to that hole he made in the wall, and just as he goes through it, it does that weird, eclipse, light sheen thing. And he disappears.
There are several times when he moves super quickly. We don't see it like in the third act. He sees them he hears them from the balcony, and then the next shot you just see the curtains blowing.
Yeah. I mean, who knows where she found this guy, but having him by her side really does give her a lot more power and influence, because then she could just order him to beat you up, which is apparently a precedent. And he's hilarious. So, it's pretty simple. We learn that animals don't get to do cool shit pretty early on. But Danny's like, but we're all so talented. What about our dreams? So, the plotline isn't too original. Like, it has that sort of, like... What's it called when, like, our hero does something and makes a big goof him up and then has to fix it for the rest of the movie?
I don't know, plot?
Every movie?
Yeah, I guess. Well, we have that happen.
Yeah, he trusts Darla to make a big thing. They do a huge... They do a thing where if this was a live-action movie, it would cost $1 billion.
Yeah, basically. And then they destroy most of the studio. I love how they hire Wooly to do the elephant thing every film when they could just film it once and have him and just reuse the footage.
Yeah, that was so confusing to me. I'm like, that's just objectively inefficient.
It only makes sense if you're a kid. It only makes sense if you're a kid and you don't understand editing.
Yeah, like, it was like Roger Rabbit, where it operated on this world where it's like, instead of people, there being animation or special effects, it's all just, like, actually just people just recreate it.
Pretty sure when I was a little kid, I was, like, a really little kid, I was just grasping the concept of reruns, because I just remember having this weird notion of, like, so do they gotta draw it all over again?
Oh, boy, so...
Yeah, like, I literally thought that somebody just had, like, a stack of paper and just kind of, like, went in front of a camera and had them take a picture of one and then go like this, and then like this. Like, really, really fast, like, just, like, shuffling through the paper.
I learned from an episode of Muppet Babies, they were making their own cartoons, and they had a camera that just had a button. There was like a camcorder, but it had a button on it, and that's what they used to take each frame. So I'm like, okay, they kind of do that. Like, they don't have, it's not a flip book.
It's not a dude with a flip book. They put it on a board.
They take a picture of each frame, and then that's a movie. That's a cartoon.
Pretty much.
I mean, let's talk about the songs. Like, there's a musical movie, like...
Great songs.
Really good songs.
Like, I got hit with some heavy sense memory during that first song during the opening credits. It was,
Yeah.
And, like, I've already forgotten it, but if I were to hear it again, I'd be like, oh, shit, it's that song!
Our Time Has Come, I think.
That's what it's called, yeah.
Oh, shit, I totally forgot to mention this, but originally, in 1993, when the film was launched, it was supposed to be a vehicle for Michael Jackson, who would produce, star, and be a musical consultant and choreographer. And also would be a hybrid live-action CGI film. And then they're like,
whoa!
Nah. And then that just fell apart somehow.
That would have been a 1,000,000,000% different movie.
Was it because Cool World did bad? Was Cool World already out by then?
I think so. Wasn't Cool World in the 80s?
I want to say Cool World was in the... Cool World...
Well,
no, you know what it was?
Roger...
Cool World was 92.
There you go.
Yep. They shut it down. It came out and they said, stop the presses, this Roger Rabbit thing doesn't have legs.
We tried it again. We couldn't make it work.
Lightning did not strike twice.
God damn it. Kim Basinger's character in Cool World was named Hollywood.
What a subversive adult film that was. So mature. Such heavy themes.
Probably better than Sausage Party.
Yeah, sorry about that. It's just...
Yeah.
So that was the first song.
Oh, Tuja's right. I would watch Cool World 20 times before I saw Sausage Party. These songs, like, you're really right that, I've heard a lot of stuff that Randy Newman has composed but not performed, and it doesn't immediately sound like him.
I feel like he's good at writing songs of a particular style. Like, the songs in Princess and the Frog were supposed to emulate that time and that place in various contexts, whereas this was also the same thing. He wanted to write songs that sounded like Golden Age Hollywood 30s ditties.
You know what's my favorite Randy Newman jam? Like, obviously the most profoundly affecting Randy Newman song is I Will Go Sailing No More from Toy Story 1. I cry every time. But the credit song from James and the Giant Peach, the Good News song, that song just rules.
How does that one go?
Good news is coming around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Good news is coming around
Speaking
the
of
bend.
speaking of '90s movies that didn't get the good, like didn't do well enough.
I saw that in theaters. I did my with my grandpapa. I did my part.
You put in the time.
Well, he did. He paid for it. I would have been like, what if
your grandfather
5.
just turned to you at the counter and was just like, "So you got this, right?"
Papa, no! So we've got our arrival. It's literally just called Arrival Song, Danny's Arrival Song, where he's like, Hollywood, where the streets are paved with gold.
That's the line I remember because it was in the commercial before some other VHS we watched all the time.
Yeah. Where everything is cool and great, and
We've talked about
famous.
this. We've talked about this a lot on other episodes, but not here. Nina and I, our main experience with Cats Don't Dance.
I have a very particular history with this film. Because whenever I would find myself in a Hollywood video or a blockbuster, back in the day when I was a small child and I was allowed to pick a movie, I would always get very overwhelmed. One, I would avoid the horror movie section like The Plague, because it scared me.
It wouldn't even go over to it. Like,
yeah,
had
it
to
was so
avoid it.
scary. And then I would just kind of wander around and wonder what the heck to get, and never know what to get, because I'm really bad at trying new things, so I would always get this movie because I knew that I liked it. But I didn't own it at home.
Never owned it. Still haven't. Rented it today off of Amazon.
Just like old times. I will never own this movie.
It would be fucked up to own it at this point.
You'd throw it away. You get too uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not supposed to have it.
You get that DVD where it's the other side is Quest for Camelot.
No! I don't want that! Then we have our Little Boat on the Sea, which is like the in-movie song, because they're filming an adaptation of Noah's Ark, where Darla is like this angel baby.
It reminded me of the slightly different censorship policies back in even the early to mid 90s, because you can just have a song in a children's movie where it talks about the Lord.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also drowning.
Yeah, like the Old Testament Lord, not even the vague notion of like a nice God.
Yeah. The guy who's just a really small asshole. A really cowardly prick.
But that's the kind of movie that you could make back in the day.
Yeah, and that's the other thing about Golden Age Hollywood, is that if they wanted to make a sleazy movie, they had to couch it in religious themes. That's the only way they could get it made. The only way they could justify it.
Or they set it in ancient Rome.
It's like, that's just how it was back then. Everyone was always just butt fucking each other. So we have to make this movie about butt fucking.
Then there's Animal Jam, where Danny's like, come on everybody, let's sing and dance. Let's show that we can do it. Let's
Skip
have
that
fun.
dibby dabby dibbity boo.
And then they have this cute little thing where the characters, the colors will brighten as they live their dream and
Except the music.
accept the music, and it's a fun,
Some Pleasantville shit.
yeah, it's a fun time. Everybody's going crazy.
Danny dresses in a new suit that makes him look like a modest pimp.
Well, he's wearing a zoot suit, I think.
I guess it was a zoot suit.
Yeah.
Is the thing. But it's like the
Yeah, you
proportions
reminded
of
me
a
of,
pimp suit,
the-
but like regular colors.
Well, I always base every zoot suit I see off of the first zoot suit I saw, which was worn by Tom in that one Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Yeah. Tom was just drawn to be in a zoot suit.
Now that I realize it, Tom and Jerry, we should do... God,
I'm
Tom
looking
and
at
Jerry.
it now. Maybe that's what it was inspired by, because
I would hope so.
Danny has that very cartoon-like star face, star shape
Oh, yeah.
pattern that cartoon cats have.
And even a similar color scheme to this zoot suit, the orange and greens.
It's a really shitty zoot suit.
It fits him it looks like a poodle fucker.
Oh, man.
Which is the Tom and Jerry where he rolls a blunt out of Jerry and then blows the word howdy in front of a girl.
I mean, that was the cowboy one, obviously.
That bit rules.
Then we have our villain song, which has two parts. The main part, and then a refrain.
A refrain in a minor key.
Where it's the more evil part. Called
Big and Loud.
Big and Loud, which is a great number.
Yeah.
It's the most memorable one from the film, I think. Like I didn't remember off the top of my head a lot of songs except for Big and Loud and Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now.
Yeah, me too. And I knew that there was a slow, kind of romantic song that I always fell asleep during, because I never, ever liked those songs as a child. I thought they existed so you could go to the bathroom. Like, I thought they were a waste of everyone's time as a child.
Oh, I love Sawyer, though. I loved her.
No, as an adult, it was good. It was quite well made. Sawyer's really cool. The weird thing about Sawyer, though, is that her talking voice actress, Jasmine Guy, was a last-minute replacement, which was kind of weird because she wasn't hired until all of Sawyer's animation had already been completed.
Now that you say that, that's extremely obvious.
She's the only character where...
She ADR'd it.
She ADR'd it, yeah.
I love her voice, though. I don't know who was originally supposed to be here, but I would.
Oh, I love
I love her.
I love just the quality of her voice, but I think it would have been even better if she got to dictate the pace to it.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, of course.
It's so obvious now that she was not in control of the pace.
Yeah, and it also might be why her singing voice, Natalie Cole,
sounds nothing
like her talking voice.
I mean, Natalie Cole is a big get.
We know that because Lauren Faust clued us in, because she worked on this movie.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Oh, I knew that.
You know what's crazy about this movie, and I guess it's indicative of the fact that the studio was going through so much shit. It's story by 6 people, screenplay by 4 different other people.
Yep.
There's no overlap whatsoever.
Yeah, when I first saw that, I was like, yeah. Oh, man. I also was kind of...
Every movie that gets made in Hollywood is a miracle. Please understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I was also kind of losing my mind, because I could have sworn there was a song called Cats Don't Dance that featured in that, and I guess I made it up.
Maybe you were thinking of the Aristocats. Everybody wants to be a cat.
Nope, that's different. Also, rad song.
Well, okay. I've actually listened to that recently. It starts out okay, then it gets sickeningly racist with the Siamese cat playing the piano with 2 pairs of chopsticks.
Oh no!
Yeah,
and then they start wrecking the building, and it rules. Doesn't they start just moshing?
You just gotta cut out the Siamese cat. I mean...
Of every Disney movie?
Every Disney movie, the Siamese cats are the worst part. They had the worst songs. Nobody liked the song.
And then we got like our big Act 3 number, which is Nothing Gonna Stop Us Now, which Darla Dimple does the worst job ever of sabotaging.
Yeah.
Man, she does such a bad job. She makes it so much good and better.
She makes it so fucking rad. Why was all that shit just built into the stage? It was cool. That whole scene was so cool.
Maybe she just legit figured, hey, everyone is as awful as racist as I am. Just the fact that they're there doing things will piss everyone off.
Oh,
yeah,
clearly.
Like, I love the line where she's like, singing and dancing animals. Who would watch that? And it's like, that's what every cartoon has ever been. One thing that I can't say, this movie's only like an hour 14 minutes. It's very short. And I do feel like it could have been a little longer, actually, because, like, we have very, like, I don't know. We could have spent more time building stakes, I guess. Or earning the third act number. Because it really did just feel like Duke shows up, one thing goes wrong in this one scene, then he talks to Darla, then they do this other thing, like, oh, I give up forever. Like, they could have, I guess because I wanted them to maybe do a bit more with the racism allegory.
We weren't ready for that.
But I guess we weren't ready for that in the 90s, especially not during a time when all these different managers were coming in and out.
Yeah.
The fact that this movie's coherent at all is a miracle, and I'm thankful for it.
Now, you said that on this most recent watch you dug the Tell Me Lies song, the Natalie Cole solo.
Yeah.
I didn't feel the romance subplot. I felt it was just like, well, we gotta have this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like it wasn't honestly shoved in there that much. Like, you can almost miss it. I felt, at least. I watched it, and I guess, like, yeah, the 2 cats are gonna smooch, and it's gonna be cute, but they didn't make it, like, that huge of a deal. The main plot kind of stayed the main plot. and
That's
Sawyer's characterization was more focused on she used to sing and dance and she doesn't want to anymore, and I gotta make her wanna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why she fell for him was
shit
because...
kicker Rube with a heart of gold,
And the
stars in
reason
his
why-
eyes.
Yeah, she fell for him because he reminded her of what she used to love doing.
So that's like, so honestly, like, I mean, hey, that's points. At least there's a believable reason that she would like this goof. It's like why they all eventually warm up to him, because he reminded them of why they live their lives like this where they are in the first place.
Like, he has that great
That's
line where they're
admirable.
like... Yeah, he has that great line where they're like, man, you know, you ruined everything, blah, blah, blah. They don't want to see us. Animals can never be in pictures. This town isn't made for us. And then he's like, then why the fuck are you still here, though? Like,
Yeah.
who are you kidding?
He was basically like, well, then leave then. There's the door. And, like, none of them did.
No.
Because they're like, oh, we love doing this, though.
And of course, I mean, I guess you had to have a romance subplot because given the era that this
It was the times,
is
you know. I mean, you
emulating.
still do.
Yeah.
That was actually another thing that made Toy Story kind of refreshing, is that the only romantic subplot was, you know, Woody and Bo, and they were already dating.
Yeah, they were just dating.
Yeah, that wasn't a subplot. It was just a character thing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, they're dating.
Yeah.
And they do weird toy sex things when all the other toys are asleep.
With the pull string.
Oh,
And the hook, the
Oh, yeah,
shepherd's cane.
Yeah, the crook.
no. Yikes.
Yikes. The actress who did Darla Dimple's singing voice was also a child, Lindsay Ridgway, who was the second actress to play Morgan Matthews on Boy Meets World. If you remember Boy Meets World, the sister just stopped appearing for 2 halves of a season. They just stopped writing her in one season, then she came back in the next season played by a different actress. She just came down from the stairs after 20 episodes of being gone, being like, that was the longest time out I've ever had. And
That's basically what happened in Happy Days, but even worse with Richie, I forget his name. Was his name Richie, the main character on Happy Days?
the only one I know
forget
is
his name.
The only one I know is Fonzie. I'm super basic when it comes to Happy Days. I also confused it with Cheers, I think, until just now.
But yeah, Ron Howard's character on Happy Days, he had a brother, showed up in one episode, forgot about him, showed up in another episode by a different actor, also forgot about him, and then he just never had one, ever, for the most of the show. Sitcoms got a lot of, wiggle room back in the day. You could do whatever.
Yeah, nobody...
Oh, hey, look, we
there was
had
no
a
standard
baby.
for it.
We had a baby. Next season, he's 4 and his hair's a different color.
Yeah, nobody cared back then. They do now.
They just wanted those good goofs.
Not even. They just wanted something to fill in the emptiness that was their life.
Yeah, and that was done by William Daniels, who was... Mr. Feeney is great.
Yeah.
Step the fuck off.
The only episode of Boy Meets World I ever saw, because I wasn't I wasn't watching the channels that had it. I just happened to click on it one time. Very first episode I saw was the joke episode where it was Halloween and they all died.
and then the person who shows it to you
And I
looks
was
to you
just like, well, this is great.
And that's what Boy Meets World was about.
I just
That was
remember,
the finale.
I just remember that Topanga was a manic pixie dream girl. She would wear lipstick and do
And her name
weird
was
dance.
Topanga.
Yeah, her name was Topanga, and I was like, it's quirky. Was that the show with the guy who had a pet pig?
I can't do this with you anymore, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm run dry.
Alrighty then.
Alright, so... Anything else about Cats Don't Dance?
They do.
They can dance.
The title's a lie. 0 stars.
They can dance. It's animated really well.
Yeah, phenomenal. I would love to see just frame by frame some of the crazy smears in there.
Oh, the smears must be awesome.
Because it was choreographed by Nathan Kelly.
You know, the other Hollywood dancer who's not Fred Astaire.
Yeah. Although actually the blurb on Amazon was is a wisecracking cat with moves like Fred Astaire. I'm like, all right.
It's it's dedicated to Gene Kelly.
Can't you
God,
be cool?
Gene, if Gene Kelly was alive to read that, he'd probably just be like, ugh, this, I can't escape. This again. Damn it, Fred.
Yeah, but I think that's...
How come my brand's not that strong?
That's all about I got.
It's a fun flick. I love this movie.
It was very fun to revisit. I quite enjoyed it.
Right.
Nothing's gonna stop it except for marketing.
Yeah.